Welcome to our Sundara Feast program. Sundara Feast means dancing, chanting, feasting and philosophy, right? So we're gonna have philosophical part now. It's not really exciting, but anyway, so we have to know why we're dancing and chanting. And then feasting. Feasting is just to energize our chanting, right? By the way, who came for the first time? Somebody here for the first time?
Yeah.
Today? Oh.
Yeah.
Hi, oh, Jai. Beautiful. Beautiful around. Welcome. By the way, I'm actually the second time here, but first time giving Sunday class. Normally, traditionally, we're reading Bhagavad Gita for Sundara Feast, and today we're going to read Bhagavad Gita, which is considered to be perfect theistic science, which is spoken by Krishna himself. And according to our acharyas, Bhagavad Gita is a conclusion on all Vedic literature or summary study of the entire Vedas. Whoever tried to understand Bhagavad Gita without any personal interpretations, but in decided succession, can surpass all the wisdom of the Vedas and all the scriptures of the world, actually. This is a specific standard of Bhagavad Gita. So we're going to read Bhagavad Gita, and I have chosen a topic today, which I have called, Who is the Supreme? Okay? Who is the Supreme? So we'll read a famous verse from 10th chapter, which is called Vipatti Yoga, Opulence of the Absolute, and text number 8. It's one of the key shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. So let's start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll read Sanskrit translation to Prabhupada by his divine grace of Hashem Prabhupada Swami. Maybe just one. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajantimam buddha bhava samamvidah. Krishna said, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Study this perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply this teaching can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything, in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Om Jnanati Nirandasya Gnanina Chadavata Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Stapitam Yena Bhakti Svarupa Kadamahyam Dadhi Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Prabhishya Vipasudhya Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishna Shri Bhakti Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishe Shukharine. Yanta Pragishta Kovachava, Prasukam Sanjivani Tikila Shaktigara Sukhamya, Anyam Shahastam Sharanam Samari, Pranam Bhagavate Purushaya Tutya, Dantaste Nandantarini, Yeshkutma, Shivatu Pampadam Vijam, Janani. Hare Krishna. So, who is the Supreme? Apparently, for you, is not a matter of question who is the Supreme, because you read Prabhupada's books properly, you understand it, and it is an axiom. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, right? So Prabhupada writes in almost every page of his books that Krishna is the Supreme. But how do we know that Krishna is the Supreme? I'm sorry, maybe any other opinions who is the Supreme? I just want to know. Maybe somebody else in a different way?
Nope.
Any other opinions, proposals? Who is the Supreme? Everyone agree? Krishna is Supreme. But how do we know that Krishna is Supreme? What's the point? Why? Why we say that Krishna is Supreme? What's the proof? Or you feel like that, or it seems to you that Krishna is Supreme. So if you don't explain it, it's like kind of superficial, right? It's not really scientific, let's say. And like Prabhupada said, religion without philosophy is just sentimental. And we don't rely just on the belief, because our belief will be tested by Maya, by time factor, by difficulties in the material world, and by trials and tribulations which are happening. So therefore, if we don't have foundation in our knowledge and our belief, so we're not stable in our devotional service. So therefore, I think to discuss this topic is very important. Who is the Supreme? So how do we acquire knowledge about perfect knowledge, about truths, about who is the Supreme? So how do we acquire this knowledge? So nowadays, probably everyone asking Google, right? Going on the website and ask Google. And Google is like a guru nowadays. Google Sadhu Shastra. Right? Google Parampara. Or maybe Google like a God, because he has two aspects of God. All-knowing and all-pervasive. Right? He's everywhere. And I have asked Google, who is the Supreme? So it's popped up like about 7 billion different results came about maybe in 1 minute. 7 billion. So what's the population of the Earth? Like about same number, maybe a little more. So it seems that everyone has his own opinion about who is the Supreme. And maybe everyone considers himself to be Supreme, right? So as many personalities on earth, so that many Ishvaras and gods, right? According to Google. So maybe it's not a reliable source. It's too complicated. So let's look at the science which is called epistemology or methodology, how to apply instrumental to acquire or gain perfect knowledge, something like that. So science of methodology of cognition, or epistemology is called. So, anyway, so in the Vedic language, in the Sanskrit, it's called pramana, pramakarana. means instrumental in gaining the perfect knowledge. So basically there are like three evidences, three main kind of methodologies how to gain knowledge about anything and everything. And I looked up on the scriptures and I found verse from Manusmriti, which is goes Pratyaksham Anumanam Sha Shastram Cha Vividvam Ganam. It is said that if one desires to obtain correct knowledge of Dharma, he should become fully acquainted with these three. It is saying that there are three evidences or means to acquire knowledge. So first one is called direct perception, like sense perception, right? Another one is called inference. And last one is called scriptures of various traditions. Right? There are three. You know about that, yeah? It's called Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Shatra, right? So let us examine all of them. What is the reliable source, how we can understand who is the Supreme. So we have these three pramanas. First one is empirical method or direct perception. So how we can perceive that somebody is Supreme, how we can find Supreme. And this knowledge is very important to understand who is the Supreme, because by knowing that you can understand what is your goal of life, how to establish relationship, and who is the Supreme. So you can directly approach or address to him in a certain authoritative way. And just, So three pramanas. First one is called empirical knowledge or direct perception. It's called pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means pratyaksha, whatever is in front of your eyes, you can see, you can feel it, you can hear it, you can touch it. So through your senses. Second is inferences or logic. It's called anumana, following your mind, right? Anumana. So we have our mind. Even we cannot see it, but still it's there. So different hypotheses or mind exercise, let's say. And third one is called divine revelation through the shabda, through the transcendental sound vibration which comes down from authoritative source. There's some unauthorized sources also, like if you go on the internet or TV, they're also shabda. But it's not really a reliable source, right? And that knowledge is superhuman knowledge. It's called Aupaushaya. It's not the human knowledge. It's given from coming down from disciple succession. Right? So we must determine which is a reliable source for ascertaining this fact, who is the Supreme. So let's examine all of this. Just let's see what is a reliable means to attain knowledge. So first one is empirical or sense perception. So how we can find the Supreme? Who is the Supreme? So what we're going to do? We just go around and ask everyone, or do experiment, or just try to find a person who can make some magics, or maybe we can see who obtained all opulences. Like normally we know that Bhagavan has 6 opulences. Shada Ishvarya Purna. Does anyone remember those? 6 opulences of the Absolute. So normally we know that 6 is he possessed. All beauties, strength, yes. What else? Wealth, renunciation, knowledge, and fame, glory. Right. So we're going to study all people who has all the six in full extent, in a limited degree. So, or maybe we can ask somebody to show his universal form. That's what Krishna set up as like criteria for those who claim to be avatar. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the conversation with Arjuna, he said, so Arjuna asked him, just show your form, and Krishna exhibited his universal form, right? Now almost everyone has his avatar. If you go on the website, everyone has avatar, right? And like Prabhupada said, in every crossroad of big Indian cities, there's some unemployed avatar asking for alms, begging for alms, right? Anyway, so this is maybe not a right way how to acquire knowledge, just to study through our senses who is the Supreme, right? And like Jiva Goswami in his Gaura Sundara, he explained that without exception, every ordinary human being has 4 defects. 4 defects, everyone. Maybe besides those who is self-realized, or maybe some of you Vishnu Tattvas, I don't know. But besides of those, so everyone has 4 defects, right? Are you remember those? 4? Committing mistakes, yeah, right. First one is our senses are imperfect, right? So definitely we understand it. So we're always deluded by our senses. Cheating propensity, right? It's the last one. So then we commit mistakes because our senses are imperfect. Then we also prone to fall into illusion, right? And last one is we cheating others, because we hide in our imperfections and we cheat in others so that we are perfect, right? So therefore, right? Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, Karma, Patra, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, also Uddhava Gita, Krishna said. So this 4, and every ordinary human being has this 4, therefore our consideration according to our sense perception is always, mostly wrong. Right? So this is fallible source. So we can't judge by our sensory perception, right? We can't find the truth. Although maybe modern science they rely on this very much. They do an experiment on according to our sense perception, empirical methods. So anyway, we can judge person by our sense perception. So we can see who is God, we can hear God, we can, we can touch, we can feel Him, right? We cannot feel Him. We even cannot see the air or ether, or to speak about mind. But it doesn't mean that mind does not exist, right? But we can see God because God is more subtle, He is spiritual completely. Anyway, so I remember one story, Karnam Swami. He used to tell the story when he was in New York City in the Central Park. And one time he came to the park and he was sitting on the bench, and some man approached him and also sit next to him. And he was in a saffron robe, like a monk. And that man, he was like kind of attracted to him, and just by speaking with him, finally he said, who am I? I'm God, actually. And Kadambaka Swami, he said, okay, not bad, but you see, I got a little bit different understanding about God. So, why you're missing your teeth in your mouth, or why you have a bad smell, or maybe your hairs are gray, and you're lame person, whatever. I got different understanding about God, actually. And he said, but this is your understanding of God. Anyway, so try to understand through the sense perception, right? To find the truth. According to epistemologies of science, it is explained that there is a second one which is called anumana, or inference. Various mental exercises, hypotheses, and so on. So we can presume many things. We can suppose, we can make any proposal to think over, maybe this, maybe that. Like we try to, what am I supposed to do, to be or not to be? So we're thinking. This is a thinking process. Our reasoning. And normally, we have limitation in our sense perception. And when we're limited by our sense perception, just by going beyond it, we think, we imagine, or we reasoning what is beyond of our sense perception. And it's like extension of our sense perception, actually. And it is saying in Bhagavad Gita that mind is a fixed sense, right? Mind is also sense, but it's a sixth sense. There are 5 main senses, and mind is a sixth sense. What is the verse? Manah. Manah. Say again. Shashtani Deni Prakriti Sthani Kasha. Right. So this is good. So mind is a sixth sense, and conditioned living entity is struggling with the 6 senses, which includes the mind. So we have these 4 shortcomings, and therefore we lacken in our perception. And mind is also sense. So you see, our inferences are actually inconclusive. Tarko Shutayo Yogina, it is saying in Mahabharata that our dry arguments are inconclusive and unsustainable. So anyway, can you understand God by logic? How we can understand God by logic? And if you can understand, if you could have understand God by logic, that means our mind is superior than God, right? But the definition of God is inconceivable. So, therefore, and actually in Western tradition, in Western world, they have 2 schools of thoughts. One is called, there is a motto. They say, I believe in what I am seeing, right? And this is called pratyaksha in Vedic terms. This is empirical method. And another one, there is a French thinker, his name Descartes. He said, I think, therefore I am, right? So this is thinking process, reasoning or inference. That is called anumana. So there are 2 schools of thoughts in the Western world. So, and in Vedic paradigm, there is a third one which is called divine revelation. Divine revelation, or Apurusheya Shabda, or superhuman knowledge. So this is absolute evidence, or absolute pramana. Which is free from 4 shortcomings, 4 defects. There is no what is called pramada, brahma, vipralipsa, karma, patava. There is no all these 4. This is perfect source. This is coming from authoritative source, from the absolute truth in itself. It's coming from there. Yeah, it is saying that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vido Narayana Sakshat, Swayam Iti Shushuma. So Veda comes from Narayana himself. It's like his breathing process. When he breathes out, so Vedas are coming, There's a sound vibration which is called Shabda. So some of the great sages, those who specified his mind and senses, they can perceive it, on a fundamental level. So that's called Shabda. So therefore we can conclude out of these three different methods to acquire perfect knowledge. So Shabda is considered to be most reliable because it's coming from the perfect source and it's superhuman knowledge. And this is not based on the infallible senses of mind. Right? So therefore it is considered to be highest. And according to our Vaishnava epistemology, this is only one means how to attain a perfect knowledge. Tasmat Shastra Pramanante, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, only Shastra, solely only Shastra you can get knowledge from. And Krishna said in the 16th chapter, he said, Ye Shastra Vihyushija Partatam Kama Karatam Nasas Nachasithi Avapnuti Nasukham Paramriti. He said, one who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor supreme destination. No siddhi, no paramgati, no sukha, anything. No nothing. So, what Shastra says about who is the supreme? Actually, for your consideration, I will present to you 21 reasons why Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So I have 21 reasons. Is it okay? I don't know, probably we don't have a time for that, but at least I can start. Then we can continue next time. And I don't know when we have to finish, so you give me a signal, otherwise I'm just going over time. So there are 21 reasons why Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Right? So would you like to know them? Yeah? It's good to know. So Krishna himself speaks in Bhagavad Gita, right? Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, so in today's verse we said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matar sarvam pravardate. Iti matva pujatipam bhutha bhava samadhita. Krishna said, I am the source of all material and spiritual world. From me everything emanates. So that's words of Krishna, right? So, and throughout the Bhagavad Gita he said a few times also, Matah paradaramanya kinchidasti dhananjaya, and so on and so forth. Then he said, what he said else? He said, Vidaisha savaya aham eva vedi vedanta krit vedaveda vachaham. Right? So I am compiler of the Vedas, I am knower of the Vedanta, and purpose of the Vedas to understand me. Right? Is it okay? You convinced Krishna is the Supreme? So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, but you see, that's maybe not for everyone, because sometimes Krishna is saying different things, but maybe sometimes he lies also. Like for example, also he said in Bhagavad Gita, I am also the gambling of cheats. Right? He said so. Of all cheats, gambling, he is a gambling match. Right? So, should we believe Krishna or not? I don't know. And sometimes he broke his vow on Kurukshetra battle. For example, he said, I'm not going to fight, but then he picked up will and started to approach Vishnu in order to kill him, right? So sometimes he breaks his words, his vows. Therefore, let's see other evidences. Maybe it's not really obvious. I mean, for the devotees, the 100%, but maybe for outsiders, it's not. So therefore, I have two stories actually here. So you have to give me signals if I'm going too long. So Lord Narayana himself, Vishnu, right? So he speaks in Puranas. So there is Puranic history, how Bhikkhu Muni proved the supremacy of Lord Vishnu. You know this story? It's mentioned in 10th canto in 89 chapter. You know the story? once upon a time, long time ago, on the shore of river Saraswati, sages assembled together like here. All the sages came and they discussed who is the supreme. Same topic was, who is the supreme? And finally, so some of them they proposed that maybe Shiva, maybe Brahma, or maybe Vishnu, we don't know, maybe Indra, so many demigods, 33 main demigods, and also the assistants, like it like comes up like 33 millions of demigods. So who is the supreme? Okay, so they decided to send Bhikkhu Muni and find out, like check everyone who is the supreme, examine them. And so they delegated Bhikkhu Muni for this mission to investigate the matter. So Bhikkhu has chosen an extraordinary way how to understand who is the supreme. So he decided to test everyone, every lord's tolerance. So how they tolerate, like, like I think Raghunath Swami said, greatness of personality is estimated according to the ability to tolerate provoking situation, right? Something like that he said. Yeah. So he chose the same way to test the tolerance of every rich deity. So first he came to court of Lord Brahma, his father, by the way. So without offering his respect on obeisances, he just came, and this enraged Brahma. So he got angry, he got cross. Because in Vedic traditions, the son is supposed to, like, kind of offer due respect to his father. But anyway, he suppressed his anger, and because he was a son. Anyway, he failed test. So Bhikkhu understood. So he's not the supreme. He got cross. He gets angry, like that. So next, Bhikkhu went to Lord Shiva's abode, which is called Mahesh Dham. So he came to his abode, and Lord Shiva, his brother, he rose from his seat and he wanted to embrace Bhikkhu Muni. But Bhikkhu Muni said, "Don't touch me. You dirty person. You contaminated. You always covered by ashes and with the snakes, and like you always in crematorium and dirty places." And he called Lord Shiva deviant heretic. So Lord Shiva, he was completely furious. He picked up his trident and he just, going to kill him immediately on the spot. But unfortunately, Goddess Parvati, she was there and she pacified Lord Shiva somehow or other. So Shiva failed.